Okay, dear friends, we're now going to do Pesacheinu Megadim on Koheles. We're connecting the beginning and end of Koheles. Now, that's not so hard because everybody knows that there is a pasuk in Koheles that appears in the beginning and appears in the end. And that is one of the most iconic psukim in Koheles. Havel, havalim, amar, Koheles, hakol, havel. We have in the beginning of Koheles, where Shlomo HaMelech says, in Perek Aleph, Pasuk Beis. Shlomo HaMelech says, actually a little bit different. In Perek Aleph, Pasuk Beis, Havel havalim amar Koheles, Havel havalim hakol havel. We have 7 havalim. Havel havalim. Havel havalim hakol havel. In the end of Koheles, Havel havalim amar hakoheles hakol havel. So there, he's not called Koheles, he's called HaKoheles. And there, 2 of the Havalim are taken out. But, nevertheless, without getting into the discrepancies between these 2 psukim, that is a very overt connection between the beginning and the end. Now, why is he called Koheles? Rashi says, because he gathered different wisdoms, and he gathered many chachmais and he organized them. Well, that's what we read at the end of the Sefer. Divrei chachamim kadar vanois uchmachs merois netuim ba'alei asupais. Master of collections. That the chachamim are masters of collections. But the truth is, for Koheles, we don't have to look so far as to the connection between the beginning and the end, because, watch this. Okay, let me try this. We could go straight to the Gemara Masechta Shabbos. I'm taking you to my Oitzer HaChachma, and the Gemara Masechta Shabbos says, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Bereid Rav Shmuel Bar Shilas Mishmei Darav. Bikshu Chachamim Lignois Sefer Koheles. The rabbis wanted to bury Koheles. Why? Because their words are contradictory. Why did they not hide it? Why did they not bury it? Because it begins with words of Torah and it ends with words of Torah. It begins with Divrei Torah, the Chsiv. What advantage is there for man in all of his toil, that he toils under the sun? From there we darshan, Va'amri debei Rabbi Yanai, under the sun there is no advantage. But that which preceded the sun, there is an advantage. Meaning, Ma Yisrael la'adam b'chalamola sheyamal ta'al Amri Rabbi Yanai tachas Hashem shu de'en loi koidem shemesh yesh lai. That which preceded the sun, namely the Torah, a person has great value from studying it. And it also ends with Divrei Torah. Why? Soif davar hakol nishma esol kimira ves mitzvah sav shemar kizeh kol ha'adam. Mai kizeh kol ha'adam amar Rebbe Lazar kol ha'olam kuloi le'nivra ela b'shvil zeh. Meaning, amar Reb Abba bar Kahana amar shakol zeh k'neged kol ha'olam kuloi. Shimon ben Azai Omar, Va'amri la Shimon ben Zayma Omer, Lai Nivra Kol Ha'olam Kulai, Ella Letzavois Lazeh. The whole world was only created to command to such a person. Now I want to share with you a thought that is very worthwhile and relevant to this whole program of Pesacheinu Megadim. You ready for this? They wanted to bury Koheles. Why? Because there are things that are contradictory. Then who cares that it begins with Divrei Torah and it ends with Divrei Torah if the middle of it is problematic? Why does the fact that it begins and ends with Divrei Torah, Why is that a reason to save the whole Sefer? Just because the book begins and ends with Divrei Torah, but if the middle is problematic, then the Sefer gotta go. It must be that the idea that the way a Sefer begins and ends is not just it should begin and end in a similar way. The way a Sefer begins and ends is reflective on the entire content of the Sefer. So if Koheles begins with Torah and ends with Torah, that's reflective. The entire book is replete with Divrei Torah. And then it behooves us to understand how the main body of the Sefer is not contradictory. It's not just, well, it has a good beginning and a good end, so therefore, despite the middle, we're going to keep it around. No, it's reflective that the entire book is full of Divrei Torah, and now it behooves us to try to understand how to reconcile the various contradictions. But this is really a Pesach and a paradigm of the whole idea of Pesacheinu Megadim. It's not just a connection between the beginning and end of the parsha, but the way a parsha begins and ends is reflective of the whole content of the parsha. Okay, so that is Pesacheinu Megadim on Sefer Koheles, and hopefully we'll have another one sometime connecting the beginning and end of Chamisha Chomshei Torah. Okay, I'm going to share with you something else on Koheles.